now.
And Father, what I also have noticed is this, this disposition and this disposition towards the mind or intellect, like again and again, you try to see the world through that, like what you
Mhm.
say, don't play in the mental playground, that example that you give, that intellectual disposition again and again, like, you try to see from that point of view, or
Yeah.
you try to see from that sufferer point of view, so like a habit, like an habit, so that's also
To look
visible
at it, I like
here.
what you said. To try and look at everything through the lens of the intellect, you see, so that it can be assimilated, we feel, like in a digestible way by defining it in certain boundaries and constructs, you see. But the minute I ask you, tell me something which is true, you see, then then because you've been in satsang, you will see that you cannot answer that question through the same intellectual box at all, and yet all the
True,
representations in
because
that box are proposing what they are saying is true.
there is no absolute truth there, because there are always thesis and hypothesis. You have antithesis for everything. So uh, it can play only into extremes, either this way or that way, or maybe in between, but it cannot play beyond that. So, and all those spectrums are relative. You can say they are relatively true, but perhaps there is no truth in them. It's just a way of looking at things.
We can never say something is relatively true. You see, at least from the paradigm of speaking that we share in satsang here, because if it's
True, true.
relative, then it's relative. Because in Vedanta, we would define true as a non relative. No, it does not change, it does not come and go. So, relatively true is a contradiction in terms, and yet we have to use these terms to communicate and
True.
point. But nothing is absolutely relatively true.
Yes, conversationally true, maybe we can say. We use, actually, many a
Provisionally,
times I feel like
I like
provisionally. Many a
provisionally.
times I feel that we are very much stuck in the language. Actually, we have taken the language or the conversational things to be the truth. And perhaps that's also causes trouble. Like
No,
conversationally, we speak, I am talking to you, or I went there. And you take that I to be the truth. So you are stuck in the language, in the words.
exactly. That is the human condition. Language, language games. Wittgenstein called it language game. We're talking about all the philosophers today
Language.
because she reminded me of about the philosophers.
True, true. But of course, when we ask, what do we know right now, which is absolutely true, like what you are sure, 100% sure. Like right now, what I can say, I am not sure of anything, you know, and to the
Even that
maximum
we're not sure.
provisional, I can say that I exist.
Yeah. Even
Uh,
that we're not sure that we're not sure.
Even I exist is I am not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
True, true, very true. Even to say that I am or I exist is also not sure.
Yeah.
I am not sure of that.
Because we don't know what exist is. We don't know here in the mind
True.
what exists. You see, we definitely don't know in the mind what I is.
But the true I that we see, that cannot be spoken. You cannot put it into. It cannot be spoken. It maybe like you can point to it, but that's also far from it.
And that is what is missing in most philosophy, at least that I have found. This intuitive insight of the seeing without attention. You see, this discovery which is absent of perception or attention. this discovery of the self knowledge, of the true self recognition, you see, which is independent of all that can come and go, independent even of attention, which seems to be the light of all perception, isn't it? So we can say that something is perceived when the light of attention is on it, you see, or we can say there is no distinction between perception and attention, you see. But this self, you see, it doesn't matter where attention is, you see. Attention could be on anything, but self knowledge is independent of that. And that's why I want to steer this conversation a bit back to this pristine self discovery, this pristine self discovery. So what are you able to discover without having to use attention? For all of you, you see, what is your discovery without needing any tool whatsoever? So you don't have to even divest your attention from the phenomenal. Trying to bring your attention into the non-phenomenal is an absurd statement anyway. You see, because the minute we say attention is on it, it's objective. No, we've objectified it. So what is your discovery? And all of you can answer on chat, or you can raise your hand, because this is what I want to talk about or hear from you. What is your discovery which is without any condition, without any tools, without any time, without any effort? Very good. Very good.
That's the whole point of satsang, Father. That's the self, what you call.
Yes.